Hey guys, in this tutorial video I'm going to go over how to set up VR Interaction Framework's full body IK. I haven't really messed with this much except for the past couple of days because there's been a bit of interest on it on the Discord, and I figure I'd try to muddle through it and try to explain some things going forward, and then later on in the video I'm going to add arm stretch allowance to it to remove the gap in between the hands and your grabbable. So stick with me and we'll get to it. Okay, so we're doing full body here. So first thing we need is a body. So I'm already logged into Mixamo. I use Mixamo a lot because it's freely available. It's a popular rig. You can choose any one you want. Go to characters, just randomly pick one. I'm just going to leave it on this guy. We'll download them. Where this says format, switch it to FBX for Unity, leave it in a T-pose, and then download it. Okay, so once that's downloaded, open up the folder. Go ahead and get rid of this. Go away. Let's come over to our, well, before we do anything else, we've downloaded our model. All right, now if you want to get to where I'm in the emptiest scene for BNG framework. So if you go to BNG's framework, VR Interaction Framework is what this is. Go over to scenes and then go into empty. This will work for any type of rig, the physics rig or whatever, but in the empty scene I'm going to save this as a new scene, so just click save as, go to your scenes folder, and I'm just going to save this as IK scene. And now I preserved my original scene, and now I'm in a new one. Now come back to your assets, let's create a new folder, and we'll call this avatar. And the avatar that we just downloaded, grab him and just drop him in there. Once he's in there, click on him. Where it says generic, change it to humanoid. Leave this as create from this model. Click apply. And then go into the materials, extract the textures. I'm going to leave it in the same folder, but you could make a subfolder if you wanted. Okay, just hit fix now. Clear these, don't worry about that little guy. Then extract materials. I'm going to use the same folder, so it just drops them in here. Okay, good to go on that. Next thing I want to do, and this will make more sense in a few minutes, but create a folder, and I'm going to call this IK avatar. Well, I'll call it rig avatar, just so we know what it is. Take all this, drop it in there. Take this and duplicate it. Rename this to poser avatar. The reason I do this, and we'll go ahead and do it, for the rig avatar, the one that we're actually going to use on our rig, so that the hand poser doesn't get overridden by the animator. If we click on them and we go to our rig and we click configure, and in order to do that, what we need to do is for the left hand and the right hand, all of these transforms, we have to get rid of them. So if you double click it, you can click delete and just get rid of it. If you just click it, you can't do anything. So double click, delete, all the way down. Just null them all out. And what this does is, since these transforms aren't assigned, the animator can't control them, so they can no longer be overridden, so then the hand poser can actually work correctly. So go ahead and do that for the right hand. Now the reason that I have two rigs is because I need my other rig to have these transforms so that I can do hand posing and all those things. So one rig you'll use for your poses, and one rig will actually be on your XR rig. One avatar will be on your XR rig. So I hope that makes sense. That's why we have a duplicate. So down here, click apply, and come over to our avatar, and then you'll see if we go to our poser avatar and we click on it. Let me get out of this one first. If I click on my poser avatar, it's on my rig avatars, poser avatar, click on it, and if I go into my rig and I hit configure, you'll see that I still have those transforms. So that's why I'm doing that. Next, let's go down to our rig avatar. Let's grab him and we'll just drop him in there. I'm going to make him a child of this player controller, but there is a setting to where it can unparent on on start. I'll show you that here in a second. I'm gonna leave this as is. There's something I want to go over with this, so I'm not going to change anything right now, but I'm going to come back to this. For your rig, just zero it out. If you want to look correct, just put -1. Okay. So then we need to add our character IK. Okay, and then we need to make some stuff. So let's come over to our rig. Let's come down to our center I anchor. We're going to create an empty, and we'll call this IK head follow. Under our left controller, under our models left, we're going to create an empty, and I'm going to call this left. I'm going to call IK left follow. And then under the right hand models, same thing. I'm going to create an empty. I'm going to call this IK right follow. Okay. Next, let's come over to our rig again, where we just put that script. This is wanting our left and right hand follow. So let's do our left. We'll do our right. Now the feet are actually the rig's feet. So if you come down to your rig, whatever type of rig that you're using, come down the legs, get the feet. We need the left and right foot. So left foot and my right foot. For the follow head, we need our IK head follow, and then we need our player controller transform. So just drop that in there. Raycast, leave that checked. Grounding layers, our ground is default for now, but you can add multiple layers for what you want it the feet to actually ground to. This is just a distance for the raycast. You can leave that as is. I don't think we need to change anything else there. Nope, I think we're good. Next, we need character IK follow. So let's add character IK follow. And then here, the follow transform is going to be our center I anchor. So here, and then our player transform again, it's going to be our player controller. We could leave this as is, this as is. Download angle, leave that all the same. You can mess around with these and see what they do. These are just look angles, if I remember correctly. Lerp speed is we're moving this around with velocity, so I think that's, if I remember correctly, I haven't messed with this rig in a while. It actually is what's moving our rig, but yeah. So the unpaired on start is what I was talking about. If you want it to stay a child of the player controller, you just uncheck it. If you want it to unpair on start, you just leave it checked. We'll leave it checked for now. Let's see. So next we need to do our animator. So for our animation controller, this is going to be, I think it's called player controller. Yeah. This is just a simple animator. It's just got walk and run. I don't even think crouch is used in the code, but it's there. Very simple setup. He left this really open right now. He may add to this later, I think. But this is where you could do things like 8-way leg animation and stuff. You could build your own here if you wanted to. But this actually works pretty good. So let's go ahead and hit play and see what happens. Okay, so I saw this problem come across on the Discord. They couldn't get their feet to stop doing this, and this is apply root motion is checked. Just uncheck it. Okay. Let's uncheck that, and we should be good to go. Okay. One thing you'll notice on start, you'll see his head disappears. That setting is here. I'll quickly go over these. It's called hide head. If you don't check that, it won't shrink it. But these settings are here, so if you could actually make this to where it's just a head and get rid of the rest of the body, and then you could use just your hands, where you could hide just your left and right arm, and then use the body with the regular hands with no legs, so you have like a floating body with a head. That's what all these settings do, so you can play with this and not have to use the full IK. That being said, since we're already in play mode, we have to line these hands up, and the way I do that personally, come up to your left, we'll do our left, sure, why not, and I will actually use the hand models from VR in Action Framework to actually line this up. So I just leave them enabled, and then just kind of like that. Kind of bring them over and get them in a rough spot, and you can always go in headset and match it up to your real hand after the fact. But what I typically try to do is try to get this curve and index in the back of this about where it needs to be. Something like that. It usually turns out pretty good in the end. You can see the fingers of this IK or this rig are actually longer, so it's really about this right here. And getting that finger lined up and that rotation kind of where it needs to be. I might call that good enough. Okay, so we can copy this component, hit stop, and then we'll paste it, component values, and now if we hit play again, and if we come over to our right transform for the IK follow, and then we just paste them, you'll see it's there, but it's kind of backwards, and I think it's X position, and I think it's the Z. I think we'll put it where it needs to be. Okay, so let's copy that. Component values, and then when we hit play, we should have two hands that are roughly lined up where they need to be. Cool. Okay, let's go ahead and save that. Next, we need to make our hand poses. So let's go ahead and disable our XR rig and get it out of the way. From the assets, avatar, and we need our poser rig. So let's grab him and we'll throw him in there, and then we'll zero him out. I'm going to use my lazy IK tool for this. You could do this manually by clicking each individual joint, but let's just go through it. So I made a video about my lazy hand poser. If you're not familiar with it, I think I just released it a couple of days ago, but it's free to use, free to download if that interests you. So let's come down to the hand. And the only thing we need on this is the hand poser. And just hit auto assign. This gets our transforms, and then come down to our right. We're going to make right and left hand poses for this. Some rigs, and I think the Mixmo rigs will let you do this, where you only have to make one hand pose and you can use it on both. But some rigs are like reversed, so your hand will be like messed up. So you need a hand pose for both of them. So I'm just going to act like I need to make a pose for both. Anyway, so I'm going to grab my tool, lazy hand poser, and then I'm just going to take my rig and I'm going to throw it in there. Main thing about this is make sure that your rig itself is zeroed out, otherwise you'll get some weird stuff going on. And what this does is it puts the character's hands into the McKinnon hand pose, and that's what we're actually controlling. So if you want a bigger explanation of what we're doing here, there's a video about it. So first thing we need is a wide open hand pose, and to get that I'm just going to mirror these, and I'm going to set these to 0.5 I think, just to get a base. Wide open pose almost. can come in and kind of mess with a little bit. Okay, so it's almost there. The thumb is kind of, I don't really care for the way that looks so much, so maybe something more like that. Okay, that looks like a wide open pose to me. And then as it's mirrored, so there we go. So now let's go to our right hand, since we've already got it highlighted where the hand poser is. We're going to save this pose as IK right wide open. Save that. Go to our left hand, save the pose, same thing, call IK left hand wide open. Save. Now we need our idle pose. So since we're here, let's just go ahead and, thumb actually looks pretty good. Index actually looks pretty good, but what I like to do is kind of feather them in a little bit. Something like that. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. And then you can come into your spread, which is the bottom, and kind of just get them a little bit closer together so they're not so crazy. And the cool thing about using McKinnon for this is that, or McKinnon, however you want to say it, is they tend to lock you into, or not tend to, what they try to do is with the humanoid rig is they lock you into what they feel is natural movement for your fingers. But I've actually used this tool, I've made the tool to where it goes double that. So like for the thumb here, let's just say, let me copy this and then see how it goes way out of the range of what it can do. So that looks pretty good. Okay, so we use that as our wide open pose, or our open pose. So I've already got the hand pose on the left hand, so I'm going to hit save pose, and I'm just going to change this to just open. Or you can change it to idle, whatever you want. Save. And then on my right one, I'm going to do the same thing. Save the pose, and I'm just going to change this to, I guess I didn't name that one hand, but that's okay. Next, we need our closed fist. So let's come back in here. And same thing, I usually start with the index finger, and I just kind of try to get it to look like the hand is closed from this angle, what it would look like. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, but sure. And then come to the middle finger and just do the same thing. The next one. And come to the front, check the spread. I want to pull that in, something like that. And then for our thumb, bring it in, bring that in, bring that around, and then spread is this. So kind of just sure, close enough. So I don't want this video to take forever. So once you have that, you can see we got it mirrored, so both of them are in a fist pose. So I'm going to go ahead, since I've already got my right there, I'm just going to click save, and then I'm just going to put this as closed. And then same for this, hit save pose, and then just change it to closed. Okay. Now since we're here, well, no, I'll come back to that. Let's go and get the hands working. So let's go and close this out. I'm just going to delete him for now. This back up. Let's go down to our rig. That's the one we're using for our rig, and come down and find the hands. Hips, spine. Where are you? Hands, left shoulder, left hand. So we need 3 components here. We're going to do the hand poser, auto assign. We're going to add a component, and then we're going to do the hand pose blender, and then we're also going to do the auto poser. And then we just need to do our assignments here. So for this is from to, we need our open to our closed. So we're going to do IK. I'm on the left hand, so I need my IK open. And then I need my left hand IK closed. Oh, I forgot I already did this once. It's all right. And then for our auto poser, we need the open pose. So wide open. Where are you? Wide open. And then my closed one. I just need my closed one again. And this idle pose is going to be the one that's just your open pose. So I can just click on it and then drag it in there. Oops. I'll find it fast. Okay, and now we need to go back over to our go to our right hand, and we're going to do the same thing. Add component. We'll do our hand poser, auto assign, add component, hand pose blender, add component, auto poser. And the same thing, we just need our rights this time. So IK right. See, right open. I just named this one open. Make sure I grab the right one. Like I said, I went through a test run on this in this project. That's why I have double the hand poses. I forgot to delete the hand poses, but that's fine. Then we need our right hand, or we just need our right closed. So, and then same thing for the auto poser. IK wide open, right wide open. Where are you? Right wide open. And then we need our closed hand pose again, which is this one. If you want to find it quick, just click and then grab closed, and then we need our open pose for our idle pose. We'll just click and drag that in there. Now we got to go up to our controllers. So go to your left hand controller, and you'll see that this animator is here. We can go ahead and null that out. We're not using an animator for our hands. For our hand poser and our auto poser, that's going to be the ones that we just created. So come down to your hands. I'm on the left controller, so I want my left hand where I put those scripts. So left hand and left hand. And then for our default open pose and default closed pose, we want to do the same thing. We want our the same poses that we used for our poser. So let's go to our IK, left hand open, and then we need our IK, left hand closed. Okay, now let's do the same thing for our right controller. So come to your right controller, and we need to assign the same thing. So let's come down to our right hand where we put those at and drop those in there. And then we need a default open and close pose again. So for the right hand, so IK, our right hand, IK right hand closed. this one? No, that right open. Okay, right open. And okay. Right closed. And what this is just a default pose. Some rigs, if this isn't assigned, when you let go of an object, your hand will look messed up. And we don't want that. So go and assign those there. So now what we should have is control over our hands. Hopefully, fingers crossed. There we go. Okay, so now that we've gotten that far, go ahead and go to your models left and right. We can go ahead and disable these. We no longer need those hands. File, save. I've already made a pistol pose. I've gone over that in another video, and I'm just going to use that for this. So, just to make the video faster. So let's go over to BNG framework. As you can see right now, we have a completely working rig. Okay. Go into the framework, go to the prefabs. I'm just going to use the pistol new for this. It's already got the grab points on it, and I don't have to set anything else up with it, except for making a couple of changes. So let's just zero it out. That's where it'll drop. Now on our pistol, we have to change the type of hand pose. So on our left grip transform right, grip transform right, we're going to switch this to hand pose, and then here we're going to switch this to IK pistol. I think I named it IK right pistol. Yep, IK right pistol. And then on the left, same thing, make sure this is hand pose, and then we're going to assign our left pistol. So IK left pistol. So now when we grab it, our hand pose will be the pistol pose. Okay, so let's go ahead and check this, make sure we're all copacetic here. Oh, one thing I forgot to say, to make this easier, on the pistol new, you can switch this back on the grab type, switch this to toggle, and that way you just have to click the button, it'll grab it, and then you won't have to hold the button down to hold on to your grabbable. There we go. So now, if we come in here, you can see that the gun may not be lined up perfectly with our hand pose. Remember, the rig's fingers are different and all that, but I made this hand pose based on this gun. So if we come to our right hand transform, we can move it around and get that trigger finger where it needs to be. Something about right there, maybe, roughly. Okay, and then you would just do the same thing for the left hand, and then you just take this and you can copy the transform component, and then when you hit stop, you can paste this. Okay, so next I'm going to go over the arm stretch. Okay, so now let's go over arm stretching. So where it is now, the rig's completely set up. I'm in headset. I'm sitting down, so that's why I'm crouched, but got my gun, but if I push beyond, you'll see I get this separation between the grabbable object because my arm is longer than what the stretch of the IK allows. So I wrote a script to handle that. This is how I'm going to handle it with this rig. Disclaimer, the projects I'm building now, I'm using Finalizing IK. That's just what I used. It was before this even really was a thing, but let's fix that. So, and I'll make this script available in the description for download. So let's click on our rig and go down to our guy here. And I'm going to add my IK arm stretch to it. This needs some bone transforms, and then it needs our IK assignments. So first, since we've got this opened, I'm going to grab my left follow, which is our target for our left hand, and the right target for the follow. And then we just need our bone transform. So let's open up our rig, come down to the hands. So we need our right hand, need our right forearm, and I need my right upper arm. And then same thing for the left hand, and my left forearm, and my left upper arm. So now when I hit play, this allows for a stretch between the shoulder and the elbow. So now when I grab, I don't get separation. Now I can change that ratio by doing this. There's this forearm weight. If I take it all the way down, everything's going to be in the shoulder. See how that stretches out of the shoulder? If I take it all the way up, then it's all going to be in the elbow region. So it's about finding a ratio. Depending, I mean, if you're just doing a single player game, you might want this all the way over here because you can't really look at your shoulder. The main thing I didn't want to happen is you seeing your actual wrist stretch out. But you can play with that ratio. Think of your real body. Whenever you stretch out like that, it's in your shoulder for the most part. So it's just finding a happy spot for that. And it works for both hands. Okay, so I'll go over that script real quick, and like I said, I'll make it available to download below. Let's go ahead and open this up. It's not that complicated of a script. What I'm doing is, this is obviously our transforms and our targets. For my range, I just called it forearm weight, and all this is a way for me to divide an offset and then to give me a multiplier so that I can actually divide the offset in between the left and right arm. And that's what this is. I'm just taking one and then subtracting the forearm weight, and that'll give me whatever this upper arm weight is, and then I'll use forearm weight for the other one. So wherever this range is at, one of these could be 0.3, the other one would be 0.7. I hope that makes sense. So first, I just need to get my offset of my position between my my IK target, which is the hand target, and the actual hand. So when my hand target separates from the actual hand, you'll get a separation of position. So I'm storing that position in a vector 3. And then I'm taking that stretch and I'm capping it. And the reason I'm capping it is so that you can't, set your controller down and then walk away, while you're holding a grabbable, and then your hand is just like, 40, or your arm's not like 40 foot long. So that cap is actually, you can change it in the inspector. You don't want to go too far. You don't want, to get spaghetti arms or anything like that. And then here I'm just applying that offset to my forearm and my upper arm positions. So I'm taking my left offset times my weight and my upper arm weight, which is this and this, and getting that division, and then I'm applying the offset to the positions of the upper arm, and the forearm, but I'm actually getting that positional offset off of the hand and the target. That's how I'm not stretching the wrist, and I'm dividing it across the forearm and the upper arm. And then I'm just doing the exact same thing for the right. Fairly straightforward, short script, and it works. I hope that makes sense. That being said, I think we've gotten close to the end of this video. It's gone kind of long. I'm also working on player scaling for this. There's two types of scaling that I'm working on to add to it, because it's actually a very good IK, and it's part of the package, so that's awesome. And I hope that this script will help you guys out along with the tools that I've made, and I appreciate you. Take it easy.